All right, let's get this workout going. Toddler kept me awake till literally 5, 6 a.m. yesterday, or this morning. I'm gonna do a quick run because it's day 2. There it is, getting it in. Sup, Harry? Good to see you again, brother. You already got your 10K in? Getting it in right now, or at least the first half of it. I'm heading to North Cascades National Park tonight with my fiance and the kid for a weekend of crazy adventure. Definitely tune in, guys. It's going to be a sick live stream. It's in the Pacific Northwest, close to Mount Baker. That's where we're heading about, right now I'm about an hour away from Canada, about 40 minutes. And we're gonna head southwest about another hour. Put us about 3 hours from Canada to give you perspective of where we're at. Tonight, yeah. When I get to our cabin, I'm probably gonna go on a little jog around the perimeter. My daughter has an appointment in about an hour, so I don't think I'm as fast as you. I'm gonna do about 4 miles real quick, and then do a 5K tonight. I'll probably live stream it if I can, or a little bit of a post-workout. What's up, Michael? Thanks for tagging along. Yeah, man, it was so funny enough, I made it to about the same place that I had to drop off my first time through the gap before Devil Fort Gap. I would say I would like 300, almost 400 miles is where I ended up going. You know, I wasn't injured. I had the money. In 2020, for a quick summary, in 2022, I was gonna do a Sobo. I have a video series on my channel. I was gonna start in Maine and head south and do a solo Sobo during the winter. It was gonna be insane. I hit the 100-mile wilderness, hiked through the entire forest without resupplying. It took me about 10 days. And then get to the end, meet up with some people that I met on the trail. We hit a hotel before summiting Mount Katahdin the next morning. And wouldn't you figure, I got the call from the girl, we're having a kid, she was pregnant. By the way, birth control is not 100%. She had an IUD, and that thing couldn't have failed any worse. Didn't shift or anything, it was just a 1 in a million, which I guess is pretty common. Kids, just wait. Anyways, so get the call, immediately call a shuttle, head right back to Indianapolis where I was living at the time. Literally just call a shuttle, within 20 hours I was back home. And that kind of ended my trip there. So the deal was, I'm gonna go back. She's a backpacker too, so she gets it. The deal was, I'm gonna go back. She works remote. We had plenty of money. If she couldn't handle the kid by herself, and her sister, who we were fostering at the time, was babysitting, she was gonna be a big help. If she couldn't handle it by herself, basically, she gave me the okay, but if she called, I needed to come right back home, which is what happened about 350 miles in. It was a bummer, but I guess the Appalachian Trail will just continue to be my white whale for the time being. But there's lots of adventures coming up, Michael. Thank you for sticking along and joining up now. Harry, awesome. Ultra marathoning. That's what I'm trying to work my way up to. We'll see. I probably need to drop like freaking 50 pounds first. At least 20. There's a couple really cool ones in Vancouver that are really cool. But yeah, big suggestion with the ultra marathoning is just sign up for a longer distance that you think you can finish. Yeah, no, for sure, man. I was so bummed out when we found out. It was like, you have a plan for life, and something like a unplanned pregnancy will just shake your whole world up. It's been a couple of years and we bounced back on our feet, so that's good. Definitely a blessing. Although it didn't feel like it at the time, man, I couldn't be a happier human being right now. No, yeah, ultra marathoning. The first one I signed up for was a 50 miler in San Diego, and I don't think I had even finished a full marathon yet. I didn't complete the 50 miler, but I ran 32 miles, which is the official distance, a little bit past an ultra marathon. So I failed the 50, but completed my first ultra marathon. Yeah, and I just kept doing that. From that point forward, I just signed up for 100-mile marathons. I never completed one, but the furthest I ran was 70 miles, so I have that under my belt. Yeah, it's funny, like, who knows, maybe I'll be able to do it with my kid one day. It's one of those things where, I'm gonna be honest, when I went back to the trail last year, everything on paper was perfect, but I tell you what, there was this weird feeling that the forest didn't want me there. Like, it was a haunting feeling. It's really interesting. They say the Appalachian Trail is like alive, it's majestic, and it is. It gives you friends, family. If you need something, you'll just find it on the trail sometimes. It's super duper weird. At the same time, I think it was telling me to go home. So I think that's one of the biggest lessons I learned. You can't force these things, everything has to, you not only have to have the money and the time, but the foundation. You can't just like abandon, your responsibilities, obviously, but I say that because from my experience, the forest will tell you that you don't belong there. It was a kind of a creepy feeling, I'm not gonna lie. But I did a 400-mile stretch in 2021, and then 120 miles in 2022. And this time around, it felt different. It felt creepy. But that said, I know that when I do go back, it will be the right time. I also only live about 2 hours from the Pacific Crest Trail. So maybe the universe just redirected me. Harry, you're gonna do a ultra marathon on the bike? Like an ultra bike ride? I miss cycling, man. It's been so long since I've done it. I think around 2019, there was a really bad winter in Indianapolis, and I just decided that I wasn't gonna drive that winter. I was like, you know what? Why stress myself out every single morning? Like, I was starting off the day like white knuckling, like clenching the steering wheel. I'm like, no, let's stop that. I literally quit my bartending job that I had and got one right next door to my house. And ever since that moment, I sold my car like a year later. I literally haven't driven. It's kind of crazy, but I literally cycled everywhere for 3 years in Indianapolis to get my groceries, to anything I needed. And I ended up like, again, cycling like freaking 40, 50 miles a day just on the reg because I love cycling. It's been so long since I've done that. Like, I guess 4 years. Alright. Michael, where are you from, brother? You know what? Oh man. I used to tell people, just drop whatever you're doing and just go. Like, it's super easy and everything will be there when you get back. If you don't, if you're single, young, or just job hopping, absolutely. But if you have responsibilities, again, everything needs to be set straight. Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, it's such a cool thing. First of all, I never thought I'd end up in the Pacific Northwest. I thought I was gonna end up somewhere near Tennessee. That's the land I love. I have a joke that whenever there's a pretty picture, I say that must be Tennessee because everything looks like Tennessee to me. It's the most beautiful place on the planet. But somehow I ended up here, really close to a bunch of trails. Man, couldn't feel luckier. It's a special thing. How old are you, Michael? I ask because I've seen like pretty much every age gap on the trail. This time around, there was a lot of older people. I went really early. I went in mid-February, probably about February 15th, and I would say probably 70% of the people were above 50. Oh yeah, definitely. So like that was what was shocking. So later in the season, if you start in March, it's gonna be a lot of 20-year-olds. But the later in the season, there was, I mean, I'm telling you what, like I was literally every single night, there was probably 4 people in their 60s. Nobody over 60, I don't think, but seeing somebody in their late 50s and 60s was super common. No. Well, maybe. Well, my parents are from Jalisco, Mexico. So I'm from Mexican descent. Both of them. I was born in Los Angeles. 24. Yeah, bro. You have plenty of time. One of the things I did hear from, again, this year specifically, is people wish they had done it earlier. Just because they were achy, but man, I tell you what. You get strong on the trail, no matter what age you are. Heck yeah. Fajitas, birria, menudo. Oh man. That's why we run. No, I'm just kidding. I need to lose some weight. Quesadillas. #24 to 28th. My birthday is the 28th also, but of September. That's funny. No, yeah, it's actually, speaking of senior citizens, one of the most humbling parts about this year's trip, it was cold every single night. We're talking below freezing every single night. Some nights, it was like icing, freaking probably wind chill close to 0. And waking up next to, and going to sleep in shelters, next to like a dozen, half dozen, just absolute savages. But they look like your grandparents. I literally am getting chills right now. It's like so inspiring to see like that kind of resilience in so many people. Because you think, you're like, I'm the badass, And then you see, there was this lady from the UK. She was probably like 64, super thin, and she was just a badass. We were ripping through the Smoky Mountains, and I showed up to a shelter. It was iced over, a complete ice field. It was crazy. You can see it in some of my videos. It was like 8-10 miles of just ice going down mountains. And I show up to a shelter and it's full of like university students. And I'm like, do I stay? It's like sardines in there. And I'm outside wondering what I should do. She shows up, like just ripping through like, you know, mud fields, ice mud fields. And she goes, no, it's too freaking busy. Closes the curtain and just takes off up the mountain, like frozen over. She just disappears in the snow. I was like, what the heck? She shouldn't be that tough. But that's what you saw every day, is just absolute savages that you're like, whoa, I gotta keep up. And again, 60, retired. Yeah, it was inspiring. Oh man, I tell you what, she was. Ladies are really impressive on the trail, for sure. No, yeah, I get that a lot. I get that a lot for sure. I get pretty much everything. Filipino, I don't have the hair. The North, yeah, man. This is my first time here. My fiance randomly landed a job out here, and we literally dropped everything, loaded up our little Scion XB. We have a 100-pound lab. We have a 2-year-old, and the two of us. We took as much as we could, but left literally 90% of our belongings. Drove all the way across the country in the winter. It was December. And man, those mountain passes like iced over. It was like the Oregon freaking Trail, bro. There was like days there where we were a little scared. But we made it. It was literally this one section of road in the middle of the night, which is 100 miles, like right at the border of Idaho and Washington. I think it's Idaho. Right to the west of Washington. 100 miles of just deer everywhere. It was all over the road. It was scary. But we made it, and we landed in paradise. It literally felt like driving through, you know, tribulation to get to paradise. It's freaking incredible out here. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. Yeah, let's bust out a mile or something like that. So I'm about an hour south of the Canadian border, close to a little town called Bellingham, pretty much proper. Yeah, it's a different social dynamic for sure, but I love it. You know something, Harry, this would be interesting for you. So I did the marathon Born to Run in Mexico, the Caballo Blanco. And in the book Born to Run, it has a stat where 90+% of women complete ultra marathons. They just have that tenacity and endurance. No, yeah, mad respect. Anytime a lady says she wants to do something that sounds crazy, bro, they can get it done. My ultra partner, Caitlin, shout out, she has a YouTube channel. It's about boating. She lives on a boat. I have to remember what the name of it is, but she told me one day on a run, she wants to beat the best known time, Appalachian Trail. And my first thought was, bro, there's no fucking way. But then I was like, yo, it's possible. She's done 100-mile marathons. And she's a lady, bro. They can do anything. I've seen it. And that might be in our future. Maybe I'll lose 100 pounds and join her and get the best known time on the AT. Completely unsupported, of course. Oh, yeah. Day 2, getting it back. You guys have any backpacking questions? Appalachian Trail questions I can answer with my limited knowledge? Michael, thanks for tuning in, brother. I'm going to North Cascades National Park this weekend. Try to pump out some content. Yeah, go for it, bro. Yeah, absolutely. Because I think one of the most shocking parts for everybody is how difficult it is when you first get there. We're talking about climbing 3,000 feet, descending 1,500 feet, up 1,500, down 1,500, up 1,500, down 1,500, all day. I mean, at a certain point, you just flip the switch and you're just there and you're just grinding. But that takes training for sure. You need training on how to reduce your pack weight. Like I started off with a 32-pound pack with water and everything. And now I'm not an ultralight guy. And I've dropped like 5 pounds of weight in my pack. But that all comes with like knowing what you're gonna use. So yeah, absolutely. If you can take off for 2 weeks, there's really no reason to go any longer. Like after like 2 weeks, it's when like you've got all your shit tightened up. And then just do that a couple times. The Smoky Mountains, man. I've gone through the Smokies twice now, and it's really that pretty. It really is. You go from hiking in the Appalachian Mountains, and then you just hit the Smokies, and you can tell. They're like everything changes. The fauna, the moss, the pines. It smells like evergreens. It's like at certain points, it's like high, like desert is mountain terrain. It's so cool. Yeah, definitely. The Smokies is a good one. Let me think. Maybe hiking to like a place like Franklin, like those little like Appalachian mountain towns. Starting at the beginning and just sectioning it out. Like I know a lot of friends that will literally go to the terminus down south, do a 100-mile section, which might take, a week. Go home, come back, do a 200-mile section, go home, come back. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. And I might, inspire you to just do the whole thing one day. So yeah. Yeah, it's definitely building those back muscles to carry the pack and your ab muscles. That doesn't happen overnight. And the stronger they are, the longer you can hike without causing injury. What I find happens after like 5-8 hours of hiking, you just lose dexterity and it's easier to like stumble. So being strong is definitely important. All right, you too, brother. Thanks for tuning in, Michael. I appreciate you, man. Alrighty, let's bust out a little jog. Wow. Well, this is the Horizon 7.0 AT. Just got it. I like it, but we already have to have it serviced. Oh man, I already have to pee. What do you guys do when you have to pee in the run? Alright. Bathroom break. Oh man. Now I should be able to sprint. Holy moly. Gotta stretch the old legs. Thanks for joining, guys. If you guys have any questions, just drop them down. Oh, that feels better. Again, heading to North Cascades for the weekend. If you guys have any questions about how even traveling with a toddler works, man, I've learned a lot. Traveling with a dog, road tripping. After one of my failed Appalachian Trail hike attempts, I actually, my partner and I road tripped from, where were we? We were in Virginia. We road tripped from Virginia all the way to Massachusetts. Oh, great. There he goes. Son of a bitch. Can you not? Alright. Oh, man. My dog likes to disconnect my Wi-Fi. I know I should move it. Alrighty. Probably just being nitpicky there. Jog it out. about 10 more minutes, and then I have to get the kid ready. I'm lucky she hasn't woken up yet. She's got her speech therapist coming today. Do you guys anybody have any experience with that? Speech therapy? She's not even 2 yet. She's saying words. Apparently she's behind. But don't get me wrong. Hey, we're gonna get her all the help we can get her. But I'm starting to question if it's a sham. No, I mean, more education is better. Speech therapist. Yeah, we'll see. Slow it down. Ugh. Man, having that kid throws her sleeping schedule all off. Again, she woke up at like 3 a.m. and decided to jump on my head for 2 hours. So then I got up around 9 a.m., cleaned the house, and I promised Harry, one of my awesome live streamers, her viewers, he said he was going to run a 10K, and he finished his 10K earlier, so I got to get mine in. We're about 2.5 miles in. Just trotting along. Very slow pace. Again, I've gotten out of shape and gotten back into shape so many times that I know patience is the key here. Diet, no drinking alcohol, and patience. Burning calories. What should I eat for my post-workout meal? Should I go with a smoothie or solid food? Maybe I'll make a smoothie. That sounds good. What food do you guys take when you go camping? My fiance was asking us what we're gonna do. So we're staying in a little cabin. It has a little kitchen, so we have options. A pro tip for going to a national forest or like a cabin: don't buy a bunch of food. You're probably gonna get a pizza and bring it back. My suggestion is bring a couple snacks. Bring things like milk if you have a kid. That would be more expensive. And just hold off on a lot of snacks and a lot of food. You're only paying a couple bucks more at the grocery store in small towns. A lot of times you end up saving money because you throw away a lot of food. Maybe, so for my fiance and I, that would be a couple boxes of crackers for a weekend. A couple boxes of crackers, like Triscuits, some cheese, some oats, little things that we can make in the morning easily. Some breakfast biscuits. And then we're probably just gonna, again, just get a pizza when we get hungry. Eat leftovers so we run out of leftovers. And then go back out and see what else the town has to offer. Alright, this ended up being a decent little workout. Thank you guys for joining. This weekend the views are going to be incredible. I'm going to live stream as much as I can. I'm assuming we'll have cell phone service near the park entrance. With a toddler, probably not going to hike more than 4 miles in one day. 2 miles in, 2 miles out type of thing. Or 1 hour in, 1 hour out. 2 hour loop. But I'm definitely going to take advantage and go on a longer hike. Hopefully, at least a run in the morning for a couple hours. Run, hike type of thing. So yeah, it's going to be fun, guys. What would you guys eat in a cabin? Hot chocolate sounds good. That's a given. Maybe some s'mores. S'mores sound good. Hot dogs. I feel like going to a national park inspires traditional American barbecue, doesn't it? A little bit. Couple more minutes before I have to start cleaning and get ready for this trip. Again, we'll be at North Cascades National Park tonight. Definitely tune in. Remember to like, subscribe, guys. Lots of adventures coming this weekend. Lots of hiking, lots of beautiful pine and moss. Coming at you from the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Whew. Alright, you guys get to see a thick boy jog fast. 6.0, couple minutes. I'm trying to drop about 30 pounds. 25. So day 2, baby. Day 2. Day 2. It's 3 miles. Run, walk. Nice and smooth. Very easy. I promise Harry a 10K, guys. Harry, I'm giving you a 10K, brother. Alright guys, that's 45 minutes on the treadmill. I'll finish the rest of the 10K tonight from North Cascades National Park Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for everybody for joining. There's lots of adventures coming, especially this weekend. Finally, we're getting outdoors. Have a good rest of the day. I'll tune back in shortly.